What's up, man? Come in.
What's up, dude?
Welcome to what we are calling the Hush North office. It's crazy how thin their skin is right on their bellies. Hi. Like I said earlier, welcome to the Hush North office. This is where me, myself, and my brother Logan, behind the camera, are going to produce magical things called the Beat Lab. Seriously, this is something I've been wanting since I was a young boy. I was always very into taxidermy. I loved going to archery shops or big sporting goods stores and looking at all the mounts. So when I started hunting myself and was able to pay for my own taxidermy, I started mounting everything, and I needed a place to put it all. And this is pretty much a culmination of the last, I don't know, 18 years of me hunting. But I still really enjoy taxidermy. And the reason being more so than back when I was a kid is because every piece tells a story, and I can go through and tell you every mount I have on the wall and why it was important to me and some things that we went through on that hunt before the animal was harvested. But really, I just wanted to show you guys some of my taxidermy work, some of the things we've killed, and just kind of display it. Not trying to be like, hey guys, look at all these things I've killed, but just show you some things that are special to me, I guess. Now, what's cool about this is not only do I have a story and I can remember and have these memories of all these different animals and the experience we went through to harvest them, a lot of these animals I have mounted, we have videos. We shot videos of these animals while we were out in the field, and you can go watch them on this channel. Like this bull. I don't remember the name of the video, but this is Idaho archery elk hunting, I believe. This is a bull I killed 4.5 years ago, here in Idaho with my bow. And this was a cool hunt because it is an area that I grew up hunting deer. I spent a lot of time out there with my dad, and actually this hunt was the very first hunt I ever did with Eric. I invited Eric to come out, and he filmed me shooting this bull. Go watch the video, I'll link it down below, but it was a really cool experience. And now me and Eric have done, I don't know, 50, 60 hunts since then, but this is where it started. This guy here is a mule deer from the region of northern New Mexico. I had drawn a tag, this was 2012, and it is a solo hunt I did by myself. I had gone down and filmed Brian, actually. The very first time I met Brian, this weird way we met through the internet, through an old forum that we used to both participate in and go in there and share pictures and talk to strangers basically about hunting. Anyway, I met Brian through our mutual friend Cody. Anyway, I went and helped Brian film his hunt, and that's also on the channel. Can't remember the name of that one. But after that hunt, I had this tag, and so on my way home, I stopped and hunted by myself for 6 days. On the very last day, I was able to harvest this mule deer, and not a giant by any means, but just a gorgeous deer. And I hunted really hard by myself for 6 days before I found this deer last morning on Halloween, and I was able to harvest him and got back to my family just in time to go trick-or-treating, which was cool. This buck, welcome, or let me introduce you guys, buck. Folks at home, buck. This is a deer I killed in Nevada in 2016, I don't know, 2015, 4 years ago, 2000 something, 14 maybe. Once again, I drew a tag in Nevada and went solo and went and hunted. It's I think a 10-day hunt. Anyway, I actually shot this deer opening morning. I found this deer, I went out 2 days early to scout, had a really good friend that lives over in the area that told me some places to go try. Found this deer the night before the opener, and he was a long ways away, and this was October 10th, I believe, or no, October 5th is the opener of that hunt. I saw this buck from a long ways away, and I was like, man, he's just massive. I couldn't tell how big he was, but he looked just like he had baseball bats. Anyway, the next morning I snuck in there, got to where he was supposed to be. There was deer everywhere, couldn't find him. He was actually just up over the hill 100 yards. Shot at this deer 4 or 5 times before I was able to hit him. And then killed the deer by myself. It was the worst pack out. I had to take 2 trips out and got him out. And come to find out, he was still full velvet, and that's why he looked so big the night before. It wasn't a complete stag. A complete stag is a buck or a bull that doesn't have nuts, I believe. His nuts had been injured and they were super small. They were like marbles, and so that's why he just wasn't, I guess, producing enough whatever it is to cause the bucks to rub their velvet off, because he was full velvet. Cool story, Brian actually has the same tag this year. So I'm excited to go back and hopefully relive some of these memories with Brian. For whatever reason, I feel like I have to point my hand up here towards the animals that we're talking about. So you guys probably recognize that deer. That was a Utah general season archery deer I shot last year. Very first mule deer I've ever shot with my bow. I've hunted them for a long time, and it was the very first time I've ever killed one with my bow. So that's super rad. That was, I believe, second day of the season last year. It's the same hunt we do every year, and we will be going down. That's the first hunt of the year, and it starts on the 18th, so next Saturday. We will be chasing deer up in the high country of Utah again. But it's one of the coolest deer I've ever seen. Super old deer, gnarly, velvet, just cool. Really cool. It ate very well. I've always heard you shoot mule deer early when they still have velvet on. They're just that much better, and I agree. It's very tasty. So this next mount is super important to me. He's probably my most prized mount I have in here so far. Here he is. A lot of memories with this guy. He was a younger buck. He's a younger buck. But we are actually working on a little project right now that will come out later this year with my son Gage. He is going through his hunter safety right now, online, guys. You can go to hunter safety online. So he's about halfway done now. We're about 8 hours into it. And there's a skid steer outside of my backyard now. So yeah, we're shooting a little project with Gager right now. This is gonna be his very first year hunting in the great state of Idaho. You can hunt big game if you have your hunter safety when you're 10 years old, which is a little early. So we're making a diligent effort to go through this very thoroughly, make sure he understands the importance of conservation and also safety. So keep at it, bud. So this is actually the very first mount I ever had done. I shot a bull. It was the second year I was married, or third year I was married. So this was 12, 13 years ago. I was living in Utah as a resident, and I drew a non-resident tag here in Idaho. Went out, it was a super good late season hunt for bulls, rifle hunt, and I killed this bull with my dad the last day of the season. I'd hunted pretty hard for probably 8 days total, and the last day we had to go home because my sister was having her first child, and my dad really wanted to be there. So we had just enough time to run out in the morning and hunt, and I was able to kill this bull. Oh wait. There's a screw up there, a lag bolt, but there's no mount. Oh, here it is. Here's what's left of the mount. We had a casualty. Last week we got all these animals hung up, and then I left for a few days and came home, and I walked into the office, and this horn antler was laying over there, and it really like confused me because I was like, where did that brown elk shed come from? I've never found a brown elk shed. I'm like, man, that horn looks really familiar. And you know, me being as witty as I am, stared at this antler for a good 5 minutes before I realized, and looked over here, and the whole mount had fallen off the wall. This horn had broken in half and went flying across the office over there, and broke the bottom jaw of the mount. And so I made the quick decision to just cut the other horn off and take the beat up, broken shoulder mount to the dump. We're gonna probably get like a fake European head and put it on there, but this was one of the, this was the very first mount I ever had done, and he's no more now, but that's okay. I still have the memories. So I am praying that we got this mount hung up correctly, because it would devastate me if this one broke in half. But this is a mountain goat I shot. I know this one because it says it right on it. Shot in 2013, 5 years ago. I drew a tag, the Willard Peak tag in Utah. I had about 6 points when I drew it. They have a nanny only tag and then an any goat tag, and I was putting in for the nanny tag because it was easier to draw. Drew the tag. Super fun hunt, one of my favorite hunts I've been on. But I wouldn't classify this hunt as a typical goat hunt, because where we hunt where you can hunt up in Willard Peak. You can drive to the very top and then you get on the Ben Lomond Trail and you just haul, and it's pretty flat until you find the goats, and then you have to dive off each side. But I want to do another goat hunt, but I want to do a legitimate real goat hunt. But this was a blast. Me and my brother did it, and Logan was there. And I was trying to get it done with my bow, and I'd blown a couple stalks, and we had another tag, I think an elk tag coming up, and so I only had a 5-day window, and then and plus the snow, it was supposed to snow above 9,000 feet that weekend, so I really wanted to get it done. Blew a couple stalks with my bow the first 3 days. Finally, we found this goat, and Logan said, I'm running back to the truck to get your rifle. And so he ran 2.5 miles back to the truck, got my rifle while I stayed on the goat. He ran the rifle back to me, and I was able to shoot the goat. It's an absolute beautiful sign made out of barnwood. It has the Fire Bull logo, Hush on there. But if you guys have followed the channel for a while, you guys are probably aware that we do a movie premiere every year, which is right before the big hunting expo in Utah, where we take one of our hunts from the year and we cut it as like an hour and a half, hour and 40-minute long video, and then we rent out a movie theater in Salt Lake, and this is the day before the expo. And the reason we do that is because we feel like a lot of people are coming to town for the expo, and so we're just trying to get a lot of people together and into the theater to watch our movie. But every year we've done it, we've been able to raise money to support some cause. 2 years ago, we raised money for a boys home called the Magellan Boys Home down in Provo, just north of Provo. And we were able to raise, with your guys' help and people that showed up to the theater and bought tickets, we were able to raise $10,000 for the Magellan Boys Home. And what they wanted to do with that money was to build a woodworking shop so they could teach the boys a trade. And so they built this woodworking shop, and the Magellan boys built this sign for us in their new woodworking shop, and then they presented it to us last year at the movie premiere. They were able to bring some of the boys and come to the movie premiere last year, and they brought that, which is pretty rad. So these are the signatures of the boys that helped build it, and then they have one of my favorite quotes on here. The hunt based only on trophies taken falls far short of what the ultimate goal should be. That is a Fred Bear quote, which kind of ties this all together. It's like, wow, Case, you built this giant office. It's actually not that big. You built this office and put all your trophy heads in there. But they're not trophies to me. They're just keepsakes for me, memories. So here's a couple bears. These things are gorgeous. This is a bear I shot. It was right after my son Gage was born, so it was 10 years ago. And it was literally a couple weeks after I'd booked a trip to come up to Idaho and go bait bears. And my beautiful wife allowed me to do it, even though we had a 2-week-old baby at home. But I shot this bear with my bow 10 years ago. But this bear and this mount, by far, is my favorite in this whole office. And this is my 12 or 13, 14 almost year old daughter, Braylee. Ever since she was a kid and understand hunting and understood like tags and getting her hunter safety, all of that, she told me she wanted, her first animal she wanted to hunt was a bear. And this was when she was probably 5 or 6. And I was like, yeah, okay, Bray. Every kid wants to shoot a bear, right? There's just some allure about shooting something that can eat you. And I was like, okay, Bray, but realistically, you're probably gonna go and shoot a 2-point is what you'll first shoot, but we'll try. Anyway, I had the opportunity to take her out, hunted hard for 2 days, and she was able to kill this bear. And it was her very first animal she ever killed. And since then, this was 2 years ago, and then last year, I was able to take her out, which I do not have the head on the wall because I haven't got back in the taxidermist, but she shot a beautiful whitetail in Missouri. Anyway, this means more to me than any of these other things I've done, is to seeing my kids get excited about the outdoors and see their success when they put in the time and their hard work. And that is really why I've kind of pushed all the animals to that side, and on this side, a few here, but this whole wall is gonna be dedicated to if my kids want to mount things they shoot, or if they're able to take an animal and want to do something with it, this is going to be for them. So I honestly probably don't see myself in the future mounting too many more heads. Like I said, I love taxidermy and I love what it represents, and I love having those memories and looking at them, and like I said, I can look at any of these horns or animals on the wall, and that comes back, those memories come back. But for me, I'm good, and I just want my kids to have success and hopefully put some on the wall. But yeah, so I just wanted to show you guys some of our mounts, what we've been working on. But like I said, we are gonna be working here in the office every day at 10, Logan, right? I'm gonna get a time card. Logan we have to clock in. No, I've been wanting a shop like this to put on my heads, because my wife's like, you need to clean those heads out of the garage or out of the basement, wherever they've been, and put them somewhere. So I said, well, what if I built an office just outside of the house? The house is right there. But I needed an office. I needed a place to come out, cut videos, do work, do conference calls, and not have, there's a lot of pressure when you're inside with 4 kids running around to go and hang out with them or wrestle them or make them macaroni and cheese when they need it. But this is a nice little place I can come out, get some work done, but I'm still right here if my kids need me. So it's working out good. And yeah, I love it. It is 187 degrees in here right now because the air conditioner is not hooked up, and I'm trying to get the electrician over here to do that. What else do you want, Logan?
Nailed it.
What else?